Hi everyone, on my last video I introduced you a little bit about me, right? So I told you who I was. But today, on this very first episode, I really want to take you back to who I am, where I come from, where I started, and just a little bit about how I got here. I was born in a country called Mozambique originally. It's in the southern part of Africa, East South Africa. It's a very poor country, and I was born in a very much a war environment. During the civil war in Mozambique back in the 80s, 1984 that is, so yes, I'm a little bit old. But it was a turmoil for me. It was a really tough time, when I was born. My mom and dad had nothing. I have two sisters and myself. So being born from a very poor country, with little limited resources, in a war environment, it was very tough. My dad was in the army. He was a captain in the army. My mom was the only person that was left fending for us, to support us. Yeah, so it was very tough. We had to really live in a situation where it was a day-by-day kind of thing. You didn't know whether you're going to survive or how tomorrow would be for you. It was very hard. There was not a lot of opportunities for anything to do anything. So, like going to school, you had to really be sort of, going to school was a privilege. Back then, it was very difficult. You have to walk to school about 3-5 miles walk. Teachers were opening schools, while the bombings were going around you. Very tough situation. However, I don't really want to talk a lot more about that, but I really want you to understand where I'm coming from and how I got to where I am today. With very little opportunities, limited resources, very little things that I could actually do or start working on. One of the most pivotal moments for me in my life at a very young age was watching my mom working, and she never had a job, but she was always an entrepreneur. She had a very entrepreneurial spirit, so she always was out, buying and selling fruit. She would go out and buy, products from, markets and then sell it to other markets. She would travel, different states or different regions to go and buy stuff to sell. Watching that was really inspiring for me, because I felt like, when you have such a strong woman in your life who is literally showing you what it feels like to provide for your family, you can only learn from that person. And knowing how hard it was for her back then, raising 3 kids, raising a family whilst my dad was in the army, it was really tough. So growing up, I always had that sort of influence from my mother's side. With my dad, he was in the army, and then he left the army, came back home, and then he got a job within the government. So he was working for quite a few years in the government. And then he got an opportunity to travel, go to different countries as a consulate. So we got the opportunity to go to different countries to learn how to speak English. We got the opportunity to start, a new life almost, which we're very fortunate and lucky to be in that position. However, my dad was always the guy that he wanted to do everything straight. It was either, Monday to Friday, he goes to work, he sleeps, and and that's fine, right? That's absolutely fine. If that's what you want to do, that is okay. In my mother's case, she was more of that entrepreneurial spirit. She was always inquisitive. She was always looking at, okay, what am I going to do next? I've got a really good idea. How do I make profit? How do I buy this and how do I sell that? Watching that really gave me a lot of motivation that actually that's what I wanted to do. So at the very young age of 15, 16, I was already working. I was doing a lot of things already. I had a job working in a garage, selling, car equipment and stuff like that. So I was already making money, after sort of, moving different cities. I used to go and live with my uncle for a bit, and then I used to go traveling with my uncle. So I was learning the trade of business. My uncle was a mechanic by trade. So watching him, what he did as a mechanic, I kept on learning new skills, and every single time I learned a new skill, I felt like I really liked the challenge side of the business, right? I really enjoyed seeing someone go through the struggles of creating an opportunity and then selling something, and then the ups of actually winning something and earning a living. That was really inspiring for me. Me watching all these people around me made me very highly intentionally aware of who I wanted to be or what I wanted to do. However, I also saw the lows, right? The downside of running your own business or being self-employed. Very much sleepless nights, the fear of failure, of, oh, I don't know what's this going to happen next day, where am I going to get food to feed my family? So I watched that, seeing my uncle going through that. sort of, almost it was a lesson. I was going to university at a very young age of the struggles, of what type of mindset it took to be in business and to run your own business or to be self-employed. You can watch somebody, but when you're in that position, no one can teach you that. You have to go through it. But it prepares you mentally to what you're about to face. I've given you a bit about myself. I told you where I come from, what I've learned so far. I'm hoping that in this channel, you're going to get an opportunity to see everything raw, right? We're going to try and keep a lot of things not edited. We're going to try and keep as raw as it comes. I don't have any script. I'm talking off my experience. Everything you're seeing is what you're getting. So if you enjoy this type of content, please like, share, and comment. Let me know, what were your challenges? Where are you in life right now? What are you doing? What are you looking to do? And if you're struggling or if you're going through a bad time, why is that, right? What are you doing about it? How can we work together? How can we speak together, to try and overcome those challenges? Just remember, everything in the end works itself out. As I like to say, my best friend, Sean, he's taught me a word which really sticks to me all the time. He says to me, it is what it is. And I'm hoping that by you joining me on this journey in this channel, you'll be able to have the same type of mindset. We can share problems, we can discuss them. The whole point of having this channel is not only to talk about my experiences of what I've been through, but it's also to learn from you. So thank you so much, and I hope to see you in the next episode.